Well, hello there, you beautiful, beautiful people. I hope you are all well on this fantastic, what day is it? I think it's the midweek hump. It is! It's the midweek hump. So yes, I don't know what's happened. I used to be so good at this what day is it thing, and it's all gone to pot. It's all gone to pot. And for those of you who have been around the channel for a while, don't tell the others that I've always been this way, that I've never really known what day it is. But anyway, like I say, you're all looking amazing, and we're going to get straight into the meat and potatoes. Look, a lot of you have been reaching out to me over the last few days, weeks, months even, and pointing me in the direction of different videos, different things to look at, where other creators are pointing out these cases, and very, very interesting cases, and things that they have found that point out to corruption, and where money has been able to, you know, coerce certain things, or power has been able to coerce certain things. And certainly not all outcomes in all trials and investigations are proper. But look, at the end of the day, in the Idaho 4 case, does it really matter? Is that really going to impact this case? What we know, what we can see on social media, what we can all sort of watch and be shocked by, is that going to play a part in the Idaho 4 trial? I don't think so. I don't think so. But look, it looks like this trial, unless Bryan Kohberger and his defence team waives their right to a speedy trial, it does look like this is going to go ahead in October, as we see the latest documentation giving us a time and sort of pushing the date that the trial will commence, which is October 2nd. And it looks like the trial is going to happen here. Not here in the UK, I mean at ground zero. So that raises questions as to, is Bryan Kohberger likely to get a fair trial? Is it possible? Is it truly possible that someone with absolutely no bias, there is going to be no way that they could have been influenced by anybody, even their personal feelings towards this case? Is it possible for him to get a fair trial here? Or I just don't know. At the moment, it looks like that would be like closing the stable door after the horse has bolted. It looks like it's a done deal. Jury selection is going to be here. It's going to go ahead. I believe in September they're going to be doing jury selection. There's going to be some hearings in the run up to that, including a hearing regarding the motion to dismiss the indictment. So, hey, look, there could be a curveball. But what we're hearing consistently how we, the public, Joe Public, the layman, has not got access to everything. Those who believe in innocent until proven guilty, those who dare to say that Bryan Kohberger could indeed be innocent, are consistently shot down in flames by creators and creator supporters alike. Being told that we're stupid, we're idiots, we're blind, everything is there. Well, look, some of us interpret things differently. Some of us are not ready to be convinced yet, and some of us want more. But we are told there is going to be more. There's going to be lots more. We are stupid to think there isn't more. But we've never really sat back and considered what that more truly looks like. When we say more, what does more represent? What do the people who believe in innocent until proven guilty, what does that more need to hold in order for this trial to end and for them to be satisfied that Bryan Kohberger is indeed the right person? And perhaps Bryan Kohberger is just a psycho. We've seen in the Lucy Letby case here in the UK that monsters do truly exist, and they can look like you or I. They can look normal. There isn't a specific face. There isn't a specific way that evil looks. And look, I've spoken to people who have interacted with Lucy Letby, and they are truly shocked and wouldn't have ever believed that she was capable of what she was capable of. So look, Bryan Kohberger simply being a monster is not something that can be taken off the table. But innocent until proven guilty, I also feel should not be taken off the table, because he could indeed be innocent. And look, hey, that's just me. And for some of you, there's a problem in that. You should see some of the emails I get, especially one I got yesterday, putting me on blast. But the more for me, what would I have to truly see in order for me to, at the end of the day, feel that Bryan Kohberger was the person? Some people say that they would need to see a connection. They would need to see interactions online where Bryan Kohberger did indeed stalk them, and that proof comes forward. Is that going to? And Taylor has alluded to the fact that there is none. That has not been presented. But again, that could just be her playing on the public. At the end of the day, she knows jury selection is coming up, so she does have to play the game and make it perhaps appear that there isn't as much as what there is in the background. We can only assume that they know more, again, than what we do. I think we would need to see more in terms of the car, perhaps a burglar report that shows exactly where Bryan Kohberger's car was on that night, that it was in the vicinity of 1122 King Road, including the pauses that would tie in the timeline of the aforementioned crimes themselves. When I say aforementioned, I don't mean in this, I mean in all of the videos. The reason that we're here, we would have to see something that firmly ties Bryan Kohberger's car, at least, and absolute definitive evidence that the white Hyundai Elantra is indeed Bryan's. And perhaps pairing that with a report that would 100% be able to say that these crimes did take place at a time that would coincide with that vehicle. Because at the moment we have toyed with the idea that perhaps the white Hyundai Elantra and the reasons for the information around that car being changed against what Kathy Mabbott had said earlier, making it look like this happened earlier, trying to tie the whole lot together in a neat little package. And hey, look, maybe that's just convenience for the people who want to push innocent until proven guilty. And perhaps his car driving around there and this crime taking place isn't really a coincidence. Look, coincidence works both ways. We can't have our cake and eat it. A coincidence that makes Bryan Kohberger look innocent, equally, we have to look at the other side of the coin. But look, yeah, we would need to see something that ties Bryan Kohberger to the crime itself. The knife sheath itself, because those who aren't idiots can fully appreciate that the knife sheath isn't the slam dunk that some people feel that it is. There would have to be the supportive evidence that ties all of this in together. Because the knife sheath on its own, with a large proportion of how they found this DNA and that being missing, and just being able to turn around and say, look, we can't tell you how we got to this conclusion, we can't tell you or show our workings, isn't going to be enough. It simply isn't. Now, it might be okay for some people, and the people who are perhaps involved more emotionally in this crime, because they've already pinned Bryan Kohberger to the wall with it. So this, to them, is like an ace in the hole. But if they do manage to find a jury who is completely non-biased, how would they feel about a knife sheath that is found with DNA, but the prosecution are unwilling to show their workings to how they sort of got Bryan Kohberger in their crosshairs, especially when you pair that to there being 3 or at least 3 other unidentified male DNA samples at the house. Why wasn't the work put into those samples that there was on the knife sheath? But look, like I say, it's okay to say there's more. But what is your more? What do you need to see? What do you truly need to see to make sure that at the end of all this, you are happy that justice has been served? Or do you just feel that there is nothing that can be done now? There is nothing that is going to convince you? I must say, for me, I can't go ahead and say there is nothing that will convince me. I do feel that this is corruption at its finest, and he is 100% a patsy. I just can't say that that's not the case. that there isn't a potential that this law enforcement agency were pressurized by the college in order to collar someone. And when you take the stuff that happened on the peripheral, such as Bryan Kohberger and his untimely death that is still being investigated, killed by SWAT, not SWAT. Do you know what I mean? There's so many little intricacies that tie everything in together. So many weird little things, again, on the peripheral. Demetrius, Emma, and their release despite being involved in potential supply of narcotics to a youngster who dies. Not the first charge, especially for Demetrius Robinson. But to walk away. What did he sell out to walk away? Or again, were they just having a good day and decided to give someone a break? Who knows? And for some people, they don't care. But what is your more? What do you truly need to see in the Idaho 4 case so when all is said and done, you're happy with the outcome? What if Bryan Kohberger gets off on a technicality? What if he does get to go back to a preliminary hearing setting? Because they are able to dismiss the indictment of the grand jury. There are other things around that. We know the timing of that with Bethany Funk. Bethany Funk, apparently with exculpatory evidence. What if she comes back and says that she saw someone else in the house earlier? What if it does bring back into the story about a naked person potentially leaving the house earlier, that then ties in the film students that were apparently filming outside the property and caught someone leaving the property at 2 a.m. running, which we covered a long time ago. People forget quickly. But let me know down below. What do you need to see in order to truly feel that Bryan Kohberger is the guy who did this? Or is there no convincing you? And again, I ask this multiple times, and I hardly get anybody ever. I don't think I've ever had somebody say, you know, if you truly have Bryan Kohberger pinned to the wall and you have no doubt in your mind already, pre-trial, that it's him, what was the single piece of evidence or series of things that you have been told that convince you of this, and where did it come from? I truly am interested to hear. No judgment. And if you're an asshole and you just want to whinge at people and kick off, get off the channel. I'll catch all you beautiful, beautiful people in the next one.